Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends.
Welcome to the show that never ends. Sexual Healing Podcast. Conversations will address concerns and celebrations within the misunderstood and misinformed world of sexual being. Your hosts, Dr. Bill, Mac, and Pipes, bring insight from different sexual health perspectives, covering 70 years of experience.
All right, guys, and welcome. Welcome to Sexual Healing Podcast. We're here for another week of entertainment and education. My co-hosts, Mac and Pipes, we thank you guys for listening. We've got Jose on the electric board making sure that everyone across the world and beyond, I think, with SpaceX, we're now on a different planet, can hear our message, hear our education and entertainment. We thank you. Our marketing guru, our little princess, Shelby, is going to tell us. She's not really a princess, otherwise she wouldn't be working here.
She's the queen. She's a queen.
The queen. That's a good point. Actually, if you were a queen, would you still work with us here?
Absolutely.
No matter what. So you would do it for free even though you didn't need the money?
I would.
Son of a bitch. Thank you so much. We thank you. Tell us, Shelby, give us an idea. And before you give us an idea, I'm going to cue you up here. I want to make sure that everyone out there knows how to get a hold of us on social media. And please subscribe. It allows you guys absolute total access to every format we're using. We appreciate the opportunity. We love to educate. We love to entertain. And before Shelby does that, I can't forget, because Cody has got a tremendous ego. Cody, thank you. Thank you for your service to our studio, putting your dog lives in danger every day. Every day we participate in a taping at the studio and keeping us safe. So in Dog's years, every year is 7 years, which means that he's putting himself 7 times in danger. And we love you for that, Cody. We thank you. Sometimes little Tucker will join us, back him up. But frankly, he's a little puppy and he's frightened. So Shelby, Queen Shelby, tell us what we have and tell us how our listeners can savor us every moment in a 24-hour period.
So, on YouTube, you want to search Sexual Healing Podcast. It's a brand new channel. So please, we ask you to subscribe. TikTok, you're going to find us there, and you want to, follow us there at Sexual Healing Podcast. Instagram, same thing, Sexual Healing Podcast. Follow us there. Facebook is a little different. So at Facebook, you want to follow Dr. Bill, Mac, and Pipes on Facebook. And then, of course, on your favorite podcast platforms, you can search Sexual Healing Podcast, and you should be able to follow us just about anywhere.
Thank you. But let me ask you this. I know it's a little different on Facebook. I always get confused, but it being a sexual healing thing, is it Lick Me on Facebook, or do they still like it?
Well, we have a Facebook page that they would follow.
Okay. Well, thanks, Pipes, for getting my joke. I appreciate it. We're going to move forward. We're going to talk about female.
Oh, I did. I completely heard it.
Yeah, you could lick it if you want.
I don't know. All right. So, female sexual dysfunction. We've got our team of experts here. Pipes and Mac. Is female sexual dysfunction, it is a thing? Is it really a thing, or is it just a ploy to make us be interested in the other gender?
Oh, no, it's definitely a thing, yeah.
All right, so tell us about it.
Who do you want to tell you?
Well, I'm just talking. You go, Pipes. I'll jump in after you do.
Well, no, I think female sexual dysfunction is not probably the norm for a lot of people. Don't realize that it's as prevalent with women as it is with men. Obviously, we have a ton of information on male sexual dysfunction, which we'll discuss at another time. But because of the little blue pill and things like that, what people don't understand is that female sexual dysfunction is just as common. And there's different things, symptoms, I guess, that happen or show up in your world. It can either be lack of arousal, painful intercourse, menopause, medications causing, dysfunction on whatever level it happens to be. So it's a very, very real thing. I don't think that people are real comfortable talking about it, and that's why we're here today.
All right, Mac, what would you add to Pipe's comments?
Pipes is absolutely right. It's out there. It's real, and what people don't understand, it's more sexual dysfunction is more active in women than in men. The fact that there's really no great treatments. There are treatments, but nothing that has gotten the marketing that men's treatment has. If you talk about the pill or some type of oral medication or something else, but it's real. There's many breakdowns within that. I mean, the studies say there's 40% of women are sexual dysfunction of some type, whereas opposed to 30% for men. But there's subcategories as well, and it's strongly related to age. I mean, the older we get, our body is changed. We're taking some medications to help with arthritis or cardiovascular issues, and those have an effect. So it's something we really need to be aware of as women. And so I would, if you're having any of these issues that Pipes mentioned, pain during sex, low libido, arousal disorder, see a professional, because it's about life, lifestyle. And also, if you're suffering from some type of sexual dysfunction, it can affect your mental health. It really can. It's all connected. So not only for your lifestyle, sexual being, it's good for your mental health as well.
So I think you guys both have brought up a good point. The only thing that we didn't really mention was guilt regarding sexual feelings for some people, depending upon historically, men societally have been the ones that are out there talking about sex, bragging about sex, and there's still some stigmata, I guess. I was going to say stigma, but stigmata sounds cool. About women saying it's okay to be sexually interested, sexually active. And we know that there's some disconnects. We know that women, when it comes to their daily lives, they have a lot of different responsibilities that men may not appreciate. And when they talk about household maintenance, child rearing, when they talk about body image, when they talk about taking the gestalt or the whole aspect of their daily lives, women don't really compartmentalize, meaning that the house may be on fire, but if a man statistically has a chance to get laid, he'll worry about calling 911 after he ejaculates. And hopefully, I think that's one of the ideologies to premature ejaculation. But when we talk about women, things about kids, studying, homework, finances, those things tend to, and again, I'm generalizing, but it seems statistically to be right on that women bleed over. They cannot categorize the fact or compartmentalize the fact that they want to be sexual now without thinking about everything else. And that impacts libido, their interest in sexual activity. Certainly it impacts quality of sexual response, orgasm. And so the other thing that we've talked about is that women, more commonly than men, will gauge their sexual experience, their sexual response based on how their partner is doing. And so that's very difficult for men to process. So if a man, and we'll talk about that later, is having his own particular challenges in sexual health, women are not stupid. They're going to pick up on that, and they're going to understand that maybe it's not comfortable, it's not the best experience, and that has a potentially negative impact on their sexual response. Does that ring true at all for you guys? Does that make sense?
Well, Bill, would you say that it's evolving, though, that women are evolving as far as getting, maybe not on the same plane as thinking as sex as men do, but one thing that myself come from industry and working specifically with men's sexual dysfunction, we had a lot of women that brought their men in for treatment because they felt they were missing out. But as you said, they were feeding off their partner's, mental state or frustration or whatever it was. They were feeding off that. But it's evolving, like in anything, where men are taking more household responsibilities. Women are speaking up more about having that sexual livelihood back in their lives, in their marriage, in their partnership or whatever. So as a professional, do you see that evolving as well? Or
No, you're absolutely correct. In fact, I cringed a little bit and bit on my cigar, try not to show expression, when I talked about these issues that are generalizations. But yes, it is evolving. And the last 20 years have been crazy from a stability point of view on how experts, how practitioners, how sex therapists address this, because the role is evolving. I mean, simple things, and it's just not all, gee, am I lubricated enough? Do I have enough response to have enough hip thrust? Am I pretty enough? Are my breasts big enough? Am I agile enough to please my partner? These are all different issues that are evolving. In fact, what we see historically, and there's a lot of data, it's very, very interesting from a societal point of view, that 200 years ago, 300 years ago, the concept of men being the aggressor, taking what they want, rape, looking at I want you and you are mine, very different, where women didn't have choices in the kind of partners they wanted because there was a lot of forced sex. Clearly, sexual harassment issues and Me Too issues I think that there's a lot of bullshit behind that, quite honestly. But a benefit of that is that women have felt supported by saying, you know what, I don't want to choose you. You can't force me. No means no. And that has evolved in women having a different seat at the table, if you will, on sexual response, choosing their mate, not being forced politically, religiously, socially, or criminally on who they're going to have sex with. So tremendous issue as far as an evolving discussion and evolving practices as far as physicians like myself who deal with most of my day is sexual health issues for both male and female. It's a moving target, if you will. So there are a lot of, we don't think of what happened 200 years ago, because most of us are not that old. But it is a big, big issue because we learn, every generation learns about sex for who? Who do they learn from? Their parents. So we have to filter
schools.
Out, right? Or
not from schools.
Yeah, well, correct. But so we haven't really gotten good at sex education. There are a lot of things out there that are improving it, but we learn from our parents and they learn from their parents. So whatever I did sexually in the back of whatever car I was borrowing at the time in the late 60s and early 70s was really a function of my great grandfather, who I don't think was much of a player. And we could say the same thing about whoever taught Pipes about sexual health.
Nobody taught me about sexual health.
Well, certainly it wasn't my great grandfather.
Self-study. You self-study.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you bring up a good point, and it was kind of playing in my head, prior to you saying this, Bill, but it's a generational thing as well. Generations prior to us, the comfort level to talk about things like this was just not there. And I think technology and the fact that people can get information at their fingertips, and you can go and see porn. It's not like you just have a Playboy magazine that, my dad had and, blah, 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 while I was growing up. And that's where you saw, naked women, things like that. So you've got the generation aspect of people who aren't comfortable having those conversations. Those conversations were never had with them. And these younger generations that are coming about, they have the ability to look things up. It may not be the right information that they're getting, because I mean, I do realize everything that's on the internet is 100% accurate. Sarcasm. But people have the ability, so it's not such a, these aren't as difficult conversations to have, I think, with these younger generations as it is with some of the older generations. And you're getting into menopause and hormones as far as the female, dysfunction. And these are things that, my grandma and my mom didn't have conversations about things like this. But me and my friends, we talk about it all the time. We're constantly comparing notes about how we feel and what's working and what isn't working and how things are. I need to keep my hands down.
Well, let me ask you this. Was I mentioned at all? Was I a fleeting thought in any of the conversations?
Every single one of them. I always pull a picture of you up the minute we start talking about sexual dysfunction.
Thank you. Mac, you're chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
Yeah. I guess the message is real. Sexual dysfunction for women is real. It's out there. It could be physical, with medical conditions, drugs, antidepressants, antihistamines. It could be hormonal, especially menopause, lower estrogen levels. It's physical. It's psychological. It's social, depression, anxiety. So the message we hope to get across to those who are watching is that female dysfunction is real and it can be treated. And we want to make sure that we can help you out. We hope that you reach out to us if you have any specific questions. We'll point you in the right direction. But it's nothing to be swept under the rug. It's real. Please address it, because your livelihood, your life, everything about self-esteem, it's all connected.
You know what?
Yep.
And there's help for that. Both you,
Yep.
Pipes, and Mac, unlike most of our listeners, have absolutely nailed it. It's common. It's fixable. You're not alone. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be paralyzed. Talk to a guy, talk to a lady, talk to a person who knows what the hell is going on. We thank you guys for listening. We're going to talk to you next week. Thanks, guys. My production team, Cody, thank you. Pipes and Mac, a great conversation. Let's meet next week. Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends.
Thank you for joining the show that never ends. We will pause with our part. However, you can reach us at sexualhealingpodcast.org. We are here to make your sexual health be everything you want it to be. We'll visit with you next week for another episode of Sexual Healing Podcast. Stay sexy out there.